Can we just watch?
Can you imagine going online while waiting at a bus stop or queuing to pay your water and light bill? If all goes well, that's what Pretoria residents will be doing in the near future. The city of Tshwane will be the first metro in the country to provide city-wide free Wi-Fi. Come November, Church Square will be one of 5 zones where you can access the internet free of charge and you don't even need a password. Impoverished communities have been targeted for this first phase, which comes with a price tag of 1 million rand.
The second phase, the 219 schools in Atrevo, Soshanguve and Mamelodi will be up and running in 2014. And then the third phase that will take place in 2015, we're extending it in the main to government institutions, all other institutions of higher learning.
The project is part of a collaborative effort by NGOs to bring free Wi-Fi to the continent.
The intent for all of this is not to have the solution to that problem done in the first second. The intent is to show governments, as well as private sector, how bandwidth can be treated just as you treat electricity and water.
And government thinks the country is more than ready.
We no longer think of Wi-Fi as a luxury. I mean, we think of Wi-Fi in the same mold as electricity and water. It's a commodity.
Tshwane is following in Stellenbosch's footsteps. Technology experts have given that city's project the thumbs up, saying it bridges the digital divide. Lorenzo Temba, Pretoria.
News. ENCA.com.
So before I start elaborating on how it all began, I just would like to say it's such an honor for me to be here. And I'd just like to share a little story. Just like everyone else, we were all once children. And there was a phase I went through in my life when I thought I'd be an actress growing up. And a friend of mine, her mother took us to the theater to go watch a play. And we watched The Lion King. And I was hooked. I thought I was going to be a stage theater actress. And so for me to be here is such a big deal because this is the closest I'll ever get to be in the theater. So I'm really grateful. But what this moment reassures me is that I can't really be in the stage as an actress, but I can be in the stage to do other things. So thank you, IAB and Paula. So the video you just watched highlights the launch of one of the first successful public Wi-Fi projects, not only in this country, but in the continent. The project in Tshwane would be the flagship project for Project Isizwe. It was from the Tshwane free Wi-Fi that other cities across the country replicated the public Wi-Fi model. And the founder of Project Isizwe, Alan Craig Jr., had a dream of not only a connected South Africa, more specifically, a connected low-income community. How Tshwane got it right, first of all, they partnered with Project Isizwe. And on the 15th of August in 2013, the executive mayor of Tshwane, Hosienso Ramakgopa, announced a pilot project for free Wi-Fi. And how we started the project was to divide it into phases. And honestly, in 2013, we were all, I wouldn't say all of us were connected, but a majority of us who were digitally smart had internet access and knew about what the internet was. And so to pitch this project to council, it was a big gamble, right? So we decided to roll out the project in phases. And phase 1 was covering 5 sites on campus, and colleges and in community centers. And because that is where a majority of people congregate. And if you wanted to make a difference, go where there's a lot of young people. Then you can come back and prove the impact of your project. And Project Isizwe took the financial risk to fund the initial deployment. And because when Alan pitched this to council, you know, a lot of councillors are rather elderly people who sort of, what is this internet thing? You know, why you say the city was help you fund this project? And so Alan put together his 3 Fs. And I usually say your friends, your family, and the fools, right? And he put them together and he said, let's fund this dream. And if it works out, the city will partner with us and we'll roll out the rest of the free Wi-Fi project. But by 2014, we had over 1,050 hotspots in the city of Tshwane. We were connecting by 2016 over 600,000 users a month to free Wi-Fi. beyond just connecting the citizens of Tshwane, we had other value-added services, such as a zero-rated content portal. So if you're a user of the free Wi-Fi in Tshwane, just like the little lady over there, you get redirected to the content portal, which was zero-rated. And every second week, the mayor of Tshwane would go live. And for the first time in 2013 in South Africa, the citizens of Tshwane could ask the mayor any other questions they had. That was how e-service delivery started in the city of Tshwane in partnership with Project Isizwe. And we also had other value adds like Wi-Fi TV, which was essentially run by young citizen journalists from Tshwane reporting on local news. And I mean, looking back, I think we ran the first big online community broadcaster. And a lot of these young journalists have today happened to be some of the editors and went on to be journalists for other big media agencies in the country. And Tshwane did not just inspire other cities, but it influenced the thinking on how internet access ought to be a right for all citizens. So this slide that you see shows a graph of a report by ICASA on the latest tariff report. What this graph highlights is that how South Africa's mobile data prices are expensive compared to other countries in the continent. So this is a Vodacom price in South Africa for a gig of data, which is equivalent to $11. And the same mobile network operator charges $1 in Egypt. I mean, we could have different reasons as to why Vodacom does this, and I've had a lot of proponents in the mobile network operators saying, well, you know, maybe the issue is spectrum. We need more spectrum in South Africa. But even if that's the justification, or whatever other justification there is, it's still not enough to justify the extortion taking place in South Africa versus our neighboring countries. And just to bring it home, make it personal on an everyday situation, I want us to think of the costs of data equivalent to water, right? And why I use the analogy of water is because we live in an age where if you don't have no mobile data on your smartphone, unfortunately, your smartphone stops being smart. And therefore, the need to stay connected for educational, economic, as well as inclusion reasons has become like one of the other basic utilities. As at Isizwe, we did a comparative study on the price of MTN and Vodacom on a gig of data. And we compared a prepaid bundle to a 24-month data contract. So I have an uncle who lives in Katlehong, who sells vegetables at the corner, right? He's a vendor. So my uncle can't afford to get a mobile contract, data contract phone. So my uncle buys data on prepaid, right? And he does not have 147 Rand to buy a gig of data, which is what Vodacom charges, or MTN. So what my uncle does, he purchases 17 Rand of data, 20 megs, which is 17 Rand, and for my uncle to get to a gig of data, he would evidently pay close to 500 or 600 Rand to a gig of data. I use a contract phone, and for my gig of data, from one of these mobile network operators, I'm only paying 6.26 Rand. And the operators argue that smaller bundles and short validity periods compare more favorably, but although that may be the case, the mobile network operators still charge 80, if not 100 times more to the poor. And in case this presentation is starting to sound a little bit more like I'm vilifying the mobile network operators, I'm not. So whoever works for the mobile network operators, you're safe. What I'm merely trying to draw their attention to each and every one of us in this room today is that we have a robust and exciting discussion today on the digital economy, 5G, the fourth industrial revolution, and the opportunities thereof. But much of our country is unable to fully tap onto these opportunities because of the cost of data, amongst other reasons that I will later highlight in my presentation. So it has impeded on their rights to connectivity. And therefore, that is why some of these seats are empty, because the majority of our country cannot fully connect to realize these opportunities of this digital economy we're here to talk about today. So just to go back about Project Isizwe, we did not just stop at connecting Tshwane. We went on and employed other players in the system, both in the private and the public sector, to partner with us in bridging the digital divide. Because the city of Durban and Mapoteng and the Northern Cape would love just about to be part of this connected and participate in the digital economy. But its government, its priorities outweighs connectivity, like a big metro like Tshwane. So what we did was implore the big corporates and some of the public sector that it's all our responsibility in bridging the digital divide. We partnered with an independent power producer called Akiona in the Northern Cape to connect the free Wi-Fi, the community of Durban and Mapoteng. We rolled out this project about 2 months ago. And Akiona said, we'd like to partner with you and use this project as our corporate social investment. But just like the city of Tshwane, they said, we're not sure if this is going to work because it's the Northern Cape. So we'll just put up 2 hotspots. This was a few months ago. The first day we did the deployment was in the evening, we went live. The next morning, so at Project Isizwe, we have a dashboard that shows all the activities of all our networks, the user stats, the data they're consuming. And for this project, the following morning at 10 o'clock in Durban, in these 2 hotspots, no marketing, nothing. We had over 800 people connecting to the free Wi-Fi. Today, this is one of our most active hotspots. This is in the Northern Cape. A day, we get 1,800 people connecting to these 2 hotspots. And if I had the entire day, I'd tell you what they do online. But there's probably popular acts and other people who are not getting in trouble. But it's amazing how a province, and I probably should say a country in the Northern Cape, because the minute you say the Northern Cape, people will say there's no opportunity there. But there's young people looking for jobs online. There's young people applying at university online in the Northern Cape. We also partnered with the social collective, with another non-for-profit called aware.org. What aware.org said to us was that they are an anti-underage drinking lobbyist group. And they did research on underage drinking in Mpumalanga and in the Free State. And they found out young people say they resort to drinking alcohol because, well, there's nothing to do. So aware.org said, well, we don't have the money to fund sports ground and et cetera, but we do understand young people like to be online. And how about if we partner with you as Project Isizwe and we connect these young people in Bushbuckridge and in the Free State and Botshabelo to free Wi-Fi, and then use the free Wi-Fi as an enabler for our anti-underage drinking intervention program. We've been doing this project with aware.org and the social collective for the past 2 years. And what I can tell you is that the impact of connectivity has been amazing. And just like we did in Tshwane, the users in the Free State and Mpumalanga, when they connect to the free Wi-Fi, they get redirected to this content portal that has all this information around anti-underage drinking. And we have amazing stories of people saying, well, I didn't know how dangerous underage drinking was. I mean, we haven't had testimonials of people saying, I've quit drinking altogether, but we've had testimonials of young people saying, well, I'll only drink on Fridays. We've also connected schools in these areas, and I got a call from one of the principals in one of the schools in Botshabelo, and she said, you know, before the free Wi-Fi, we used to struggle with kids coming to school, and now our absenteeism rate has extremely gone down. So the learners are coming to school because there's free Wi-Fi at school. So we did not just stop at Tshwane, like I said, and in the process of what we believed was a great mission, connecting people within a walking distance, because what we have is these hotspots are within 1 kilometer of a walking distance. And then Stats SA came with this report, and they revealed the most upsetting and jaw-dropping stats, that only 10% of South African homes have fixed affordable internet. And for the past 5 years, we thought we were doing a great thing connecting people in public spaces. And of course it's great, because who else would give you 500 megs per device per day for free? And that is 80 Rand a day that we are saving our citizens on internet access, on 500 megs at least. But I don't know about you, because we have our hotspots in public spaces, your schools, your libraries, your taxi ranks. But I don't know about you, but I've never done a homework at a taxi rank. So what we're seeing here is that a majority of South Africans only have internet access at school, at work, but when they get to the comfort of their own home, they have no other alternative to upload. Just like you and I are able to then connect to our free Wi-Fi and connect our pots, our fridges, maybe our dogs. And a majority of South Africans don't have that option. And in case you didn't know, the reason why only 10% of South African homes have fixed broadband is primarily because of our historical unequal heritage, where fiber in the past was openly trenched in leafy suburbs. And also because big telecoms companies saw it as a risk. My grandmother's from Katlehong, and where she is, there's no fiber connection. So therefore, 2 years ago, my grandmother's house fell under this as part of this 10%. Well, she was excluded. But now my grandmother's in this 10% because she's connected. There's a perceived lack of demand, which has resulted in the undersupply of telecoms infrastructure in many of these dense, low-income communities. There's this perception that people in low-income communities won't pay for Wi-Fi in the comfort of their own home. But if they're able to buy data that gets up to 500 Rand, there is a demand of connectivity. And if we're going to talk about a connected city, we need to be realistic with ourselves and speak about connecting low-income dense communities. So this was a challenge, an opportunity that made us think along the way. And we have a project in partnership with Glencore Mine in Emalaseni, just 106 kilometers outside of Joburg. And what happened was, Glencore's a mine, for those that don't know. It's a mining company, and they've connected their mining communities to free Wi-Fi. What happened is, Glencore's one of my favorite customers, because Glencore is so passionate about this project that they actually, during lunchtime, they send one of their administrators to try to go to the hotspots and connect to see if it's working, right? So they keep us on their toes. And one time, Ian, one of our Glencore customers, called me and he said, I'm at this library and it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm trying to connect with my iOS and I'm unable to connect. And I said to Ian, okay, hold on, let me open the dashboard and see if there is connectivity. And I could see at that time, when I was on the phone with Ian, there was about 8 people on the network. So I said, Ian, there's 8 people connected to the same hotspot you're standing at. And he said, where? Because I'm alone. And what we realized was that the hotspot at the library was blasting the connectivity into the homes nearby the library. So those 8 people that were connected were in the comfort of their own homes. So because the cost of rolling out fiber is expensive, and connecting these homes would be an economic financial risk, we then came up with a proof of concept, and we started connecting my grandmother's home. And we rolled out aerial fiber, using it as a backhaul, and covered 16 homes using aerial fiber and blasting the connectivity to these homes as a way of ensuring that the other gogos, who are my grandmother's friends, could enjoy free Wi-Fi, just like my grandmother. And it's just been amazing to see how the uptake and the demand has been. And then, of course, where my gogo stays, there's about 4,000 people in this township. It's a very small township, but these gogos are sitting with their grandchildren at the comfort of their own home, connected, and the cost is incurred per home on demand. Why am I sharing this with you? I'd like to implore you that if we're connecting, and we're speaking about a connected city, the first thing we talk about is let's connect bus stations, let's connect libraries, let's connect our fridges. But until we connect low-income communities, we're not connecting an entire city. A World Bank published a study that reported that a 10% increase in broadband in a developing country correlates to 1.38% increase in GDP growth. And that is a positive outcome, right? If we roll out broadband, we're going to increase our GDP. But I want us to think for a second, what is the cost of not connecting the majority in the comfort of their own home to our GDP? In the next 10 years, every home in South Africa needs to be connected. Otherwise, the fourth industrial revolution would only benefit the wealthy 10%. And that is us sitting here in this room. What will the negative impact on equality be if we do not put our triple Fs together, our friends, family, and fools, and truly solve our digital inequality, instead of shifting the responsibility to government whilst we create more apps and promise to make our lives more convenient? Thank you.